Joining us now to continue the discussion is political expert Vince Casillas. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to be here.
They're talking about her not being able to take over this process, but really the House committee has already, the Judiciary Committee has already been investigating the impeachment process.
Sure.
This is just involving now the rest of the committees of the House, correct?
Yeah. So there's 6 committees that have actually been in the process of inquiring about some of these allegations. So, you know, it's already been an ongoing process. So I think what we're going to see right now is, so clearly Nancy has kind of gone away from the format of 2 other presidents that went under this, where, you know, you do a House vote and then you go into the inquiry. But at some point, this is going to have to go through the Judiciary Committee, and then they'll recommend the vote, and then that's where we'll see if this is going to, you know, pass, and then go to the Senate.
President Trump says now he's going to release the transcript of the phone call he had with the Ukrainian president, as well as allow the whistleblower perhaps to testify or give out that full report. Does that change things moving forward, or does it signal at least that the White House feels like that this is going to be what they love to call a nothing burger?
Well, I think the White House would love for this to change things.
Right.
I mean, you know, but I think on the Democratic side, look, they've been, you know, in this kind of place where they've been, you know, investigating, you know, a series of allegations, you know, in the past couple of years. So this isn't just a one-off. And so I think what you're going to see, our Democrats are going to, you know, dig deep in this, because this is not just about this phone call. Although the phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, that's what set this off. But there's a mountain of evidence that Democrats have felt throughout this whole process that are worthy of impeachment.
Well, we would have thought that the Muller report would have been that. I think everyone was sitting on the edge of their seats, waiting to see what was going to happen, and that wasn't the case. What do you think is different about this situation, this dealing with the Ukraine, and do you think it could lend a different outcome? Yeah.
So the Mueller report was all about collusion and the Russian, you know, involvement in our elections, and what the role that the Trump campaign played. So the difference now is that during the Mueller report and what he was investigating, Trump was not the president. He's the president now. Right. And so this makes a big difference. So that phone call that he made with Ukrainian president, it really is unprecedented to have a sitting president talk to another president to help influence. And look, these are all allegations right now, but I think, you know, over the next couple of days, we'll see these clear information unfold.
Well, and I'm curious too, because we're talking about everything the House might do, but okay, the House aside, this has to get to the Senate, and then the Senate has to go forward with it. Do you see it going anywhere in the Senate?
I mean, right now, I would say it's going to be very unlikely, because first of all, when it goes to the Senate, then in the Senate, it almost becomes like a trial, and that's where it gets really politically, just really unwieldy. So I think what we'll see is, you know, the House is going to do their due diligence. They want to make sure that the public is on board with this, so it doesn't become very personal, but at the same time, look, I mean, that was the hesitation from the very beginning. Why are we going to start a process that we know at the end of the day isn't going to go, you know, go all the way through?
And constitutional scholars even debate whether Mitch McConnell even has to call a trial in the Senate, which is a kind of an unanswered question. We're in uncharted territories in a lot of this area. I guess my question for you also, Vince, is do you see this as a political impeachment inquiry, meaning that the politics behind it work for the Democrats, or do you see it as them exercising their constitutional authority, or I guess it does depend on which congressman or woman you talk to?
Look, I think at the beginning, you know, 2016, it was a very contentious race, very, you know, a lot of fighting going on both sides. But at some point, I think what happened was with what we're seeing right now is that it's all about the rule of law. I think Democrats from the very beginning, they knew politically it was going to be an uphill battle to impeach a president that clearly had a solid base. You know, the economy was good. So, you know, it was just very difficult to look and see a path for impeachment. So I think this time around, though, I think what Nancy said yesterday, to quote, you know, the famous philosopher Popeye, you know, I've stands, all I can stands, and I can't stands no more. I mean, all right, I had to do that for your viewing this morning. But seriously, I think, you know, she just said, okay, that's it.
We got it.
I have to.
We have to wrap, but coming up, I want to ask you about the 2020 election.